I apologize because I'm getting economics back to the practicality. This base and the ability to go with this longer square bar and the ability to go with sub risers and risers and change the vices make these desirable again. If you are a knife sharpener that needs that control, that needs that height that you get by going with the taller vise and the longer square bar, to dial it in when you're working with very low acute angled sharpening knives, this gives you that ability where no other sharpeners give you that same ability, because you're sharpening a knife clamped vertically so that the knife is sitting with the support behind it. You're working down on the vertical blade. You're working down on the vertical blade so you have a solid base underneath it. Whereas the other sharpeners that work this way with the knife like this, you're working down on that knife. And then when you flop it over, you're working down on that knife. So you have not only the knife flexing, but then as you flip the knife from one side to the other, you have that. So with the wicked edge, you have all that force, weight, security behind you with the heavy base, and you're working down against a solid base instead of working down on something that's floating out there, clamped back here and floating out there. So that's part of the reason that I prefer the design. Then when we get to talking about the burr and the root of the burr and the flopping of the burr, it just makes more sense to me that when you can work both sides of your knife simultaneously and alternatingly, you're not forcing that burr over on one side and then flipping the knife and forcing that burr on the other side. You're working it back and forth at the same time, that it never gets to that point that you have that fracturing burr root or whatever that dilemma is that those people are chasing. So to try to pull this all together, that's why I work with this, because none of the other sharpeners gave me the expandability that this gave me. I went with an unlimited square bar that doesn't have any delineations because I'm using a bracket that locks on the square bar. It doesn't have to be in the delineation. I'm using a cube to measure so that I can offset and measure each angle separately for sharpening uneven, asymmetrically ground knives. All these things are considered in the W100 series. Gives you all of that. Now, why upgrade from this to this? I went through that with the stone stop and the screws and how it clamps. For $75, it takes the old tired Wicked Edge 100s that were a pain in the butt to use, and it gives you a whole fresh sharpening style. It starts you over. It's so much easier to use. And then there are options like riser blocks and stable risers and other things like that that we can offer to you. Anyway, I hope that I covered this. I don't think I did it quite as well as I'd like to, but at least it's a conversation starter. Thank you.